All right, so real quick, we still got time, but I want to figure out how to share my screen on this Mac because I'm, again, working on a MacBook and I am not a Mac genius. I'm not a Mac genius. All right, so you guys should be seeing my Excel spreadsheet, right? Ignore this line about having to start my trial. Again, I'm on Mac and I'm not used to that. So I just wanted to give you an example. Let's say that you are a small firm, or, 200 clients is not tiny, right? So let's say you're a firm that does 200 returns at an average net fee. That's what ANF means, average net fee of $250. You've got $50,000 in gross income. If you increase your fee just $50, you could go down to 167 clients and actually make $100 more. So you'd be serving 33 fewer clients and you'd actually make $100 more. And your price increase was only $50. So I don't know if framing it like that makes it any more impactful for anybody. For me, I like to see the numbers. So when I was playing around with the numbers to chat about today, I'm like, wow, that is kind of a big deal. And maybe $50 is too much, right? Maybe $25 has to be your increase. You're still going to be able to deal with 15 or 16 fewer clients a year. That doesn't sound like a lot, but think about if each client you saved 1 hour, 16 hours is 16 hours, right? That's 2 days you could take off during tax season that you couldn't take off before. Or that's 16 fewer hours you have to work in the evening. So that's why I say, when you pick something to change, you don't have to change everything all at once. And the changes don't have to be huge. Like I had a minimum fee of $250 and I got really sick of where my practice was. And so for the next season, I increased my minimum to $500. That's a huge increase. We obviously lost a lot of clients, but for me, that's the number that felt right. And the market I'm in could support it. But you meant be in a market that can support a $500 minimum fee. So maybe instead of doubling it, you just add $50. Even if you had 33 clients leave, you'd still have $100 more in your pocket and 33 clients worth of time more in your sanity. Right? Does that make sense to everybody? Is there anybody who doesn't think that they could accomplish a $50 fee increase? I'm just curious. I'm not judging at all because I don't know exactly where everybody is. And so I'm not sure if this is reasonable or not.
I did. My prices are all over the place. Someone with an easier return could be paying more than someone who has a Schedule C, only because when I started out, I started doing taxes as a side little hustle because I had so many bookkeeping clients and it was just easier to kind of do their taxes. And so they were paying lower than some of my newer clients. And so this year I didn't send out anything formally. I would just increase it depending on, I knew the client and I knew whether they were going to have a hard time with 25 increase or whether they were going to have a hard time with 50, or maybe they weren't going to say anything because I already know that they value what I do. So I'm trying to get to the point where at least my minimum is $250. That's for a simple return. So I did pretty good with that.
Sure.
Except for those that I knew were going to just have a problem and their tax return is really easy. But that's kind of was my goal, to start at $250 and then go up from there. I only had 2 people out of about 125 that I did complain. One was for an S Corp and he just was like, you've been doing my taxes for so long and why do I get an increase? And so I kind of met him in the middle there, which I still didn't understand because these are business owners. So I don't understand why you think that you guys charge a certain amount for your service, but as a tax professional, I'm not supposed to ever increase mine. So luckily it went pretty smooth. But that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of doing gradually a little bit. Some had an increase of 50, some had 75. But it worked out pretty well for me, I have to say.
Oh. Sorry, I kind of allowed group to come in. Yeah. So like I was saying, and like Nishan just said, sometimes small increases can make a big difference. real quick, I want to show you the next little piece of this. So let's say you're in the range where your gross income is $50,000. And let's say you're either a solo practitioner or you have, one assistant or something. But let's say your margin is 60%. That means, like maybe you work from home or you have very inexpensive office rent because you just have one space. You don't have a lot of overhead. Somebody who's earning that $50,000 in gross income at a 60% margin is netting the same amount as someone with $100,000 in gross revenue, but only a margin of 30%. At $100,000, maybe you have a staff member or two. Maybe you have to rent a bigger office, or maybe you're paying home office reimbursements or whatever. So keep in mind, not only do you not have to be in the same average net fee, you don't have to be in the same gross income range either, because if you're a smaller practice and it's just you or you plus one, and you don't have a ton of overhead, you're walking away with the same amount of money in a tax season as somebody with a practice double the size of yours. Now, these aren't exact numbers, of course. It is possible to have staff and be more efficient at a 30% margin, but I just wanted to put this out there so you guys keep focused on the right thing. Don't get too lost in you have to charge, if you're only charging $250 for a return, are you really a tax professional? Because I've seen posts that literally say that, and it irritates me. I don't think it's fair. Not everyone is in the same place professionally. Not everyone is in the same place geographically. And so keep in mind that you can have a very successful practice and make good money. I mean, a 60% profit margin, 60 cents of every dollar you bring in is going straight into your pocket. That's before taxes, of course, but that's a whole other topic. Y'all know how that works. So don't get too caught up in comparing yourself to other practices, because
so what you
it's
just
not always all
described is sort of what I've been doing right now. So up till now, I've had very low overhead. My overhead is, I've got a commercial location, a very low overhead. This year I raised my prices about, we don't know exactly yet where, I thought that we were doing a lot more tax returns, but really it's just because we raised our prices. Now our prices are very low compared to everybody else's. But we raised our prices probably about 20 to 30%. And in most cases, most people didn't even notice. So we are even actually looking at maybe another price increase starting now in anticipation of next year. But I'm also looking at moving locations. So I'm going to, my cost of moving location is going to increase our our cost of doing business by an astronomical amount, because so you have to look at, how much money we have to bring in to cover the new cost of the new location, and how much is the new location going to help our overall business. But since we're buying it, I'm kind of looking at it almost as an investment too. But that is scary. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It only matters how much money you keep. So,
yep. And I've talked to a lot of firm owners that are, I talked to one recently who's in the $1 million range, but he's he's having to put everything he's making back into the business to continue growth. So the amount of money that he's able to take home is less than I'm able to take home, and my business is half the size. So for me, it's worth finding that balance where I can have my work-life balance. I can take out of the business the money I need to live comfortably, right? I don't live extravagantly. I live comfortably, and not be killing myself every tax season. So finding that balance. And so that means that maybe I'm never going to have a 7-figure practice. And that's probably okay, because if I'm bringing home the same money as somebody who does have a 7-figure practice and all the headaches that come with it, I think I'm the one who's better off. So yeah, I find myself getting caught up sometimes in the comparison game. I recently spoke with a firm owner who started his bookkeeping and tax practice 4 years ago, and he's at $3 million a year. I started mine 10 years ago, but really 2017 was the business setup that I have now. That's not a franchise, was in 2017, and I'm at 500,000. So every once in a while I find myself caught up into why could he get to 3 million in 4 years and it's taken me this long to get to 500,000? But I'm happy. I don't work as much as he does. I can pay all my bills on time and have some money in the bank. Like, I'm not doing badly. So I try to remind myself not to get caught up in the comparison game. It can be hard sometimes, especially when you're on Facebook and you see all these posts like, oh, attract, $10,000 a month clients. Like, okay, buddy.
If you just finished watching one of our mentor videos and are interested in joining the Dream Team, but would like to know what comes with the membership, I'm going to take a quick minute to review some of the courses that come with the membership. First off, this membership is for those that would like to advance as a tax professional, or for those that are working independently and would like to have some community support so that you don't feel like you're doing the business alone. We're going to start off here at the dashboard, inside the dashboard, and the system shows you 6 courses at a time, as you can see here. And if you scroll right down here at the bottom, you can click through the pages and it will show you the courses. If you're looking for a specific course, you can also type it up here in the search box. So let's type in ethics. You don't have to type in the whole name. And it'll give you courses that have ethics in it. But if you're looking for ethics for the 2 hours, it would be this one.